let's get this party started, guys. Still a little sick with my COVID, but I'm feeling well enough to do a little bit. So, saw this absolute banger from Ab and Preach called "Ethan Klein is Embarrassing," which, and I think that this has to do. We watched the full video. This has to do with him talking to this alpha male, and I watched that conversation, and it was pretty entertaining. And I mean, I was pretty agreeable with Ethan. All right. I don't think that there was much I disagreed with him on, except for maybe there was one part where they were talking about not having your girl go on social media and like post pictures of her body. And I was like, yeah, I agree with that. I don't really want my girl doing that either. And then Ethan was like, oh, you're insecure. And I was like, yeah, maybe. That was pretty much it. But then he brought up a decent point about how like the difference between like, you know, thirsting versus like progress pictures. And then he showed Hila. Apparently she's been getting fit and stuff, and, you know, God bless her, good for her. So yeah, it was just pretty much like it was a funny little, it was just a silly little video. I don't know. It was a fun watch. But let's see what Ab and Preach have to say.
What girls can't wear. So let's see. Let's take a look at this.
Dating a girl, is there things she can and cannot wear? Well, it depends. I mean, fashion is so broad.
Yeah, broad to get it.
So I'll have to see. But if she's dressed provocatively and I'm not with her, there's absolutely no reason why she should be dressing that.
Okay,
that's fair. If I'm not there, if I go out with her, that's another thing. You should only care about my attention.
So your stance is you can look pretty when you're with me, but if you're not with me, you need to not look pretty.
Well, she said provocatively. Provocatively is different from pretty.
That's not what he said.
Yeah.
I like that Ethan is conflating looking pretty with dressing provocatively.
But what I will say really quick, it's something to keep in mind, is Ethan was directly talking to this kid. So the kid has, it's not like, so things happen. People misrepresent people all the time. But at least he was talking to the kid, you know? So he was like, oh, you can't dress pretty. Because I mean, I don't think Ethan was trying to intentionally be disingenuous. He might have just misinterpreted it. But
there's plenty of women who look very pretty and don't dress incredibly provocatively. You can look pretty in a dress. You can look pretty in a t-shirt and some pants. You can look pretty in a lot of different outfits. Okay? Don't have to wear a thong to look pretty. You don't have to be provocative to look pretty. Now, what provocative is may vary to person, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
No.
true.
Okay.
Wrong. My stance is you shouldn't dress provocatively unless you're with me.
What's provocative?
Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go.
Like showing a ton
Big old titties. Woo!
of cleavage or wearing as little clothing as possible.
Yeah, that's fair.
As little clothing as possible. Okay, so it's cool when they're with you, but if they go out looking like that.
I would say not even good if it's with me. I don't really want, I really wouldn't want to dress in like too provocatively in general. I'm a Mormon, okay? So.
It's not okay.
And I mean, no, I would say even when they're with me, I wouldn't want them to do that in public.
That's fair.
Okay. Okay.
What's the problem?
Well, it's a little insecure.
Listen.
It might be. I think I said the same thing. Maybe it is a little insecure. I don't think that being insecure is bad, though. Like, is it a little bit insecure to not want your girl to dress, like, provocatively? Because, like, what is the outcome of that? The perspective is, like, oh, somebody, like, you'll say your girl is dressed in a way that's, like, flaunting herself. Well, what's the intention of that? You know, the intention of that maybe she just wants to feel pretty, or maybe she is trying to find someone else. And maybe my self-conscious attitude makes me feel like that might be what it is, so I don't even want her to do it. But why is it bad to be self-conscious? Or why is it bad to be, excuse me, sorry, I got COVID brain. Insecure. I think it's okay to be insecure. Like, it's not like maybe I'm a little insecure. The same reason why, no, I take my shirt off in the pool. But, you know, if you see a fat guy that wears his undershirt in the pool, you know, he's a little insecure, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. So maybe if there's a level of insecurity associated with it. But it's weird that people are so offended by being a little bit insecure sometimes. I feel like we're all in a little bit insecure, right? So it's the reason I wear a normal bathing suit instead of a fucking Speedo, so that people can't see my little pickle, you know?
People know that based off the kind of things that they wear, they're going to get a different reception from people. Yeah? If I'm with a woman and she's out here dressed like she going to Cancun tomorrow, I'm going to feel a little bit like that shit's off.
Yeah, you're going to feel a little insecure. That's fine. Me too. I wouldn't want her dress like that too.
Not because it makes me uncomfortable. I just think it's unsightly to be that desperate for attention.
Yeah. More than anything else is because you're a man. And like when a woman wears like a sexy bit of clothing, a man looks at that and goes like, oh, I want to fuck that. A woman might just be doing it for like the self-esteem, even if she wouldn't fuck the guy back, but it still makes you insecure that she'd be getting that attention, and thus you wouldn't want her to dress like that. So like, I think that there is a level of insecurity.
I think it's unbecoming. Me personally, it's the same thing with women posting thirst traps every day. I don't give a shit if women want to do that, but if we together and you posting thirst traps, like whose attention you trying to garner?
Yeah, sure.
If you're in a committed relationship with somebody and you constantly go try to post things to get random attention from random people, I'm like, well, why are you thirsting for other people's validation like that?
Sure.
This is the same thing for dudes. If you're in a relationship and you're casually, constantly posting thirst traps to get attention from ladies, to get them in your comments going,
what's a male thirst trap though? I guess I haven't really seen too much of like a male thirst trap. What is that, like bodybuilding pics? Because even that I wouldn't consider like a thirst trap. That's more of just like a physique update. All right, bodybuilding is an art, guys. It's an art form. All right, you're chiseling your body out in stone. Bow, bow, bow.
like, oh wow, no. I wouldn't be mad if a girl felt some type of way.
It is a little bit.
It's a preference.
Oh,
Well, no,
no.
it's a preference.
It's a preference.
Well, in this video, because you're kind of walking it back, so we can move on. But in this video, you say, dress sexy when you're with me, but not when you're not with me.
Women can dress sexy and not provocatively. You can dress sexy and look tastefully good without
Sure.
showing, like, it's not insecurity either. It's not insecurity. It's just I don't like that. I don't want
it. It is. Like, let's follow the thread.
No, it's not.
Because you're basically.
No, it's not.
I think it's a little insecure.
Would you want your wife out there?
Okay,
Would
hold
you
on.
want your wife out there dressed like a hoe?
No, of course not.
Well, the definition of a hoe, I guess, is I'm not quite sure what that means. But you're
Just answer my question. Would you want her out there dressed
All right,
or wearing as minimal clothing as possible out in a club?
what I want my well hold on.
Well, no, I wouldn't. That's the answer. It's like, no, of course not.
No, answer the question.
Okay, well let me show you this.
Like, it's a
Do
yes
you
or
think-
no.
Okay, well hold
It's
on.
a yes or
Is
no.
my wife dressed like a hoe here? Because I just want to get your. She posted this to social media.
Would you go out to dinner with your wife?
I think that somebody told me, and I could be wrong, that Hila's been trying to like gain a little bit of weight and like put on some like lean muscle mass or something because she's like struggled to gain weight, which is a whole conversation itself. We don't talk much about like thinner people having struggles gaining weight. We just talk about big fat, chunkers like myself. So God bless her. She looks nice. But yeah, but you could compare this to like, I don't know if I'd want my wife to go on dressed like that on the internet, but also like this is more of like a physique update rather than like a thirst trap. You know what I mean?
I dress like that.
Or she
So
wouldn't go like that. I mean, what?
That's not what he asked. Hold. Actually, wait. Why not? No. This is actually really good. Would you want?
I feel like this is so weird though. This conversation is like almost 2 hours long and we're just like picking through like a clip from it. This is such
The
a
plastic surgeon?
No.
right. Like this whole conversation, it goes from 55 minutes in this podcast to it's a 2 hour long conversation. It just feels weird to pick apart like a 30-second bit from it. You know, like it just feels kind of bizarre. I don't know, but okay.
Want to go with your wife to dinner dressed like that? Why? No, because it's inappropriate. Why is it inappropriate? Because it's too fucking much. We all get that.
Okay.
We all understand this. Like, I would not kick it with a girl who got fucking long ass nails. You know them fucking saber tooth. You guys
Why?
can be into it, whether we like it or not.
Okay.
Clothing says something about it. A woman wouldn't want to hang with a dude who constantly sangs his pants and got his boxers and his ass cheeks hanging out. Pause.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to take him out to many dinners. You go into a family function or whatever. You probably don't want your boyfriend showing up in a tank top and shorts with his fucking biceps bolstering out when it's like a more modest family or a traditional
I
family. Like,
guess.
please put on an appropriate outfit.
Because it's inappropriate for you. No, it's not even appropriate. You're insecure.
You know, like
You're insecure.
we want to
Okay.
do this hyper weird liberal thing where we say if women got their titties popping out of their shirt, it doesn't mean it, not inherently, but we do understand that what you choose to wear, how much you choose to reveal, says something. It elicits some kind of
Why are you yelling, bro? I just don't understand.
reaction, right? That's why we have so much money advertising in terms of lingerie. That's why we have so much money advertising in terms of what considered sexy and who we choose to hire and how we make the photos happen.
Why the fuck are they yelling though? Like maybe I just have low energy because of my COVID. But I feel like if you watch the full 2 hour conversation, this was like a little tidbit, and I think it's okay to disagree with some stuff. I don't think Ethan was like fucking grifting. I think that like he has a different interpretation. What I think it really comes down to is that Ethan doesn't hang out at bars and clubs, so he doesn't really. That's like he doesn't understand like dressing provocatively for that because he married a more modest woman, and that's it. So when he says like, oh, dressing like a hoe to this other alpha male, and I guess these two, maybe they go to bars and clubs somewhat often, or they used to, so they understand that. I think that's all it is. I don't think it's like this deep like yelling screaming match. Is this like a real energy or
in terms of marketing, because we understand everything elicits a kind of mental response. Why do you think women have quote unquote clubbing outfits? What the fuck is a clubbing outfit?
And all clubs are not equal, right? A club in Canada is not the same as Miami. It's not the same as Jamaica. It's not the same.
Oh, so you understand that then? Okay, so then you should understand where he's coming from.
And women themselves also understand, like, you know what, I'm going to be more modest today. I don't want that kind of attention, or whatever the fuck it might be. So Ethan's sitting there being like, insecurity. It's like, no, this dude just understands what that shit means, so he doesn't want his partner engaged in that kind of behavior.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I think that there could be a level of insecurity. Like, let's say my wife dressed in a clubbing outfit. Let's Google a clubbing outfit really quick. Okay, I'm gonna set up a scenario. All right. Let's say my girl's dressed in like a clubbing outfit. Like maybe she looks like this or something from Shein. Right. This is a very attractive outfit. You could argue that she's dressed like a hoe, but there seems to be 1,000 interpretations. And let's say she's gonna go out with like 3 of her friends, so 4 of them are gonna go to the club. I might not want her to wear this because I'd be worried that she get male attention and she might leave me. That's an insecurity. Right? And so you could be like, and that's okay. Because, like, what else is it? Like, you're worried that your girl's dressed in, like, a little bit of a thought because she might find somebody else. That's what it comes down to. And insecurity is oh, my God, I can't speak. An uncertainty or anxiety about oneself or a lack of confidence. The only reason, like, what is a lack of confidence? If you think your girl's going to leave you for another guy, that's a lack of confidence. So maybe there is some insecurity. That's okay. I don't understand why people are so self-conscious of just admitting that they might be a little insecure sometimes. Like, who cares? Oh, you're worried that your wife's going to leave you for somebody else? Maybe. Isn't that a good thing? Like a healthy amount of fear that your spouse will move on from you. That keeps you motivated to do better for them. So, like, yeah, maybe you are a little insecure. But there's nothing wrong with being insecure. Who cares?
But
I don't know why she's posting. I mean, that's you and your wife, your relationship.
No,
I
just
wouldn't
say
be
what
okay
you
with
want.
posting
Say
on
what you
Instagram.
want. I'm trying to understand your point. Do you think she's dressed like a hoe right now? And you can say yes, it's fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't want her posting. I wouldn't want my girlfriend posting pictures like that.
Because
on
that's a
Instagram.
preference from insecurity, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, because it makes you feel insecure.
Ethan, that's not an argument. You can't
It is actually a pretty solid argument, yes.
just repeat the same thing and then think it's going to be true if you keep saying it.
How does it make you feel?
I don't like hold on,
The right question is, say, like, what is it about dressing like that worries you? Like, why don't you like her dressing like that? Is it because you're afraid she's looking for other male validation? Because if that's true, then you would be a little insecure. Again, I think it's totally fine to be a little insecure. Like, jealous, it's like jealousy. Like, it's okay. It's a good thing to be jealous. It shows care. Now, there's obviously a toxic level of insecurity and jealousness, but it's good to be a little jealous. It's good to be a little insecure. Keeps you motivated.
how that girl's portraying herself, like how she's basically advertising and like saying like, look how nice my body looks for the entire world to see, for the entire public to see. I don't like that. I want her to just...
Yeah, and I agree with this kid, by the way, 100%. I agree, but that is a little insecure because the only reason you would be worried is if you're worried about them leaving. That's it. There's nothing like that. Like you had like a little bit. It might not even be 100%. It might be a 1% chance, but that's okay.
Save that for me.
Why don't you like it?
I like.
But
I
why?
just don't want other people seeing it. It's mine.
Are you not?
It's mine.
It's yours. It's yours.
I agree with him.
It's my
yeah.
wife. I don't want everyone to see her body. It's my wife.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'm hers.
In a relationship, there's certain things you can't.
Yeah, that's how I am. My wife and I are mutual ownership of each other. So.
Oh, if your partner comes to you and is like, "Yo," and they feel like they're insecure about the thing, you have to. What did I do to make her feel insecure?
What?
You also have to ask the question to yourself. Maybe it's something that you did. Maybe that person has reason.
Sorry, I'm just.
And I'm hers.
In a relationship, there's certain things you can't pose. If your partner comes to you and is like, "Yo," and they feel like they're insecure about the thing, you have to. What did I do to make her feel insecure?
What?
You also have to ask the question to yourself. Maybe it's something that you did. Maybe that person has reason to think certain things. So it's not always the person. When someone says something, it's not always the person feeling insecure out of the blue, right?
Okay.
You have to understand.
Oh, so then you're agreeing that it's insecure. Okay.
If that person thinks like that, what signals am I putting out there that makes that person think like that?
I agree. Totally fair point. This doesn't make it like a non-insecure. Like, let's say you met a girl at the club or whatever. Your girlfriend, she's like a fucking party girl and she loves drinking and flirting with other guys and shit. You might, like, part of your insecurity would be based in reality. Like, you're insecure because, like, you know she loves flirting with other people and you don't want her to do that to somebody else. Sure, still a little insecure.
Yeah, are you out there just being incredibly physically affectionate with every woman you see? Oh, my partner's insecure. It's like, you're also doing something that's incredibly weird. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I caught my girl sitting on another man's
It sounds like they agree with him now, though.
lap. You're insecure. It's like, well, I think she's being inappropriate.
If someone's catching you, like, let's say I catch my girl. If I catch my girl sitting on a whole man's lap and I'm like, yo, who's this dude?
Well, yeah, of course. I think that's a little different from outfit, but for sure, that'd be really bizarre. I think I would leave my girl if she sat in another fucking man's lap.
You're insecure. That's in the realm of gaslighting.
Yeah! Whether it be the clothes, whether it be sitting on someone's lap, whether it be like doing extra long.
Bro, it's the most toxic thing I've ever seen anyone say. So you date a party girl and you want to change who she is. Stop. Women do that all the time. Women date fuckboys all the time to try to change them. All right? Don't justify that. And then you're justifying those fuckboys cheating. My wife changed me, dude. All right.
Long hugs for specific women that, like, I don't know. I just think there's basic messaging, and these guys want to come into this world and basically say it doesn't mean what you say it does. I'm like, okay.
I don't think so, man.
Actions and gestures don't mean anything anymore. What's the point of lingerie then? Is lingerie provocative? Can we say anything's provocative?
No.
I'm actually curious. Can we say anything is provocative?
No.
That it's
Yeah. What?
to elicit a reaction out of someone.
You're missing the whole point.
Okay.
Everybody's able to wear whatever the hell they want and not being asked anything.
And it doesn't have any effect on people.
No, it shouldn't.
Sure.
Okay, and so, well, to me, I don't want to
100%,
control.
yeah.
I want my wife Hila to be as powerful and confident as she wants to be.
I don't want my wife to be as powerful or confident. You got to make sure that you do a really good job at building up your partner, but also hitting them a little bit where it hurts without them realizing it. You know, you got to say like small, subtle things. You got to like kind of gaslight your partner. This way they don't get too confident. They don't leave you. So you got to throw a couple of jabs in there, you know? So like, for instance, my wife will do her hair and she'll look really like pretty and beautiful. She'll do her makeup. She'll be like, how do I look? I said, oh, you look almost as good as you did last time you did that. You know what I mean? And this way she's in her head. She's like, oh, fuck. Like, okay, he thinks I look good. But also like, how did I do it better last time? It makes her always have to think. And then she'll start to think like, maybe it's because I'm getting older. And then all of a sudden you've successfully gaslighted your wife into being insecure and to her wanting to stay with you. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. Manipulate your spouse, guys. Make sure you just break them down a little bit, like piece by piece, just small, like bah, 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 like little punches. Okay, you gotta hit them. You gotta fucking bah, 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 bah. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That's horrible.
I'm not threatening.
If it makes you more confident and powerful to post thirst traps on social media.
Well, she wasn't posting thirst traps.
It could. I could see how it can.
Okay.
I can see how it can.
If you need internet validation for you to feel powerful and confident, in my opinion, that's not much power and confidence. My personal opinion.
Maybe,
if
yeah.
you have to post online and have a bunch of strangers tell you you're amazing for you to feel power and confident, I don't know. To me, that seems a little bit sus.
That's an interesting point. I wonder how I feel about that. Because people go online and seek internet validation all the time, and that's like silly. But is it a bad thing necessarily? I guess it depends. I think everything's good in moderation. I think there's one thing to like go online every once in a while and post like a progress pic versus like constantly dressing like a fucking like a silly goose and like always, what am I doing? Writing for some reason, and like always posting pictures and like desperate and like hinging on that. Like that's like your main source of validation. I think that obviously there's a difference.
So if she wants to go out and dress sexy and look good, you're against that.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm against her dressing provocatively.
Yeah.
She can look nice. Of course,
Because for women, putting on makeup and dressing sexy and going out, it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel good.
You're going back to sexy and beautiful. He said provocative. Not one have you said willingly provocative. You're not.
Yeah, I think more than anything else, this young man doesn't really seem to know how to argue very well for his point.
We're not even talking about the same thing.
Yeah, you're being disingenuous. And this,
I don't think that you can accurately say Ethan's being disingenuous. I think that like the assignment of negative intentionality onto Ethan is just like silly.
Not one have you said willingly provocative. We're not even talking about the same thing.
yeah, you're being disingenuous.
It's like disingenuous is intentional. You're intentionally being disingenuous. Like that's what it would be. Like he's intentionally misrepresenting the situation. Like that would be like if I said Ab and Priest are being disingenuous by making this video, by intentionally assigning negative intention to Ethan. It's most likely that just Ethan grew up like dating more modest women, and he doesn't really seem to like super understand. And I don't either, because I've never gone to like bars or clubs. But like Ethan he just doesn't kind of get like the club scene that much, right? Which I mean I get it too. And like Ab and Preach, they probably, I guess they've gone to more bars and clubs. They're more associated with that like that culture. like club culture or whatever, and so they have like more of an understanding about that, and maybe they date different women. I feel like it's not this super big yelling match though. I just don't think it's disingenuous. I feel like why assign that negative intentionality?
And this is what makes him slimy. The dude's explaining himself.
I think he believes himself with that.
No, he's just an ideologue.
See, at least preaches like, yeah, I think he believes himself, which I agree with that. Why you call him an ideologue? With what?
He's like convinced like his side of the aisle is always right, so he just constantly talks like it. And anyone else,
but aren't you the same way? Everybody kind of is, no?
They're insecure, they're afraid or whatever. It's like, no, sometimes I just think it's disrespectful. That's it. I'm
Sure,
in a committed relationship with you. There's a certain amount of respect that we have to have in public. Like, I want you to think about this. If my girl's sitting on another man's lap and I'm with my homies, you'd be like, what the fuck's this? You making me?
Well, yeah, but that's also a little different than dressing. We're having a difference in interpretation on what provocative or sexy is. But I don't think if you ask Ethan, would it be appropriate for Hila to sit on another man's lap? He'd probably be like, I don't think so. You know, it's a little different. I don't know where you're going with this lap sitting, unless it's like Santa Claus. Then it's a little different.
Me look stupid because of what you're doing. You walking around, I'm at a work function, you got your titties out of your turtleneck, right? Shout out to Dave Chappelle. That shit makes me look stupid.
No.
It's not I'm insecure. I'm not. Listen, I've never.
Honestly, what women do you date, bro? I'm a little confused. This is fucking wild. I've never dated a woman like that. That's fucking wild. If you dude, like, I'm not even joking. Like, is this like something that's happened to you before, where you dated a woman who would like sit in other people's laps and shit? Because that's just, we're on to like that's a whole new problem. That has nothing to do with the way you're dressed. That seems wild as fuck, bro. That's fucking wild.
Never in my entire life been worried about a woman leaving me. But that's not even an issue. It's about respecting the relationship. There's plenty of things you can do in the relationship that isn't based on insecurity, that's disrespectful to your partner. Sure. Right? If I'm grabbing my ex and I'm hugging her holdly, some people are okay with that. Right? Some people don't mind their partners hugging their ex and being physically affectionate. Others think that's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful because you think that they still have feelings for their ex and you're insecure about them going back to their ex. Yeah, it's like a bit of insecurity. Why is like insecurity such a bad word? Like you're a bad person for being a little insecure. Insecurity, like in healthy dose, everything in healthy doses is good. Insecurity can be what motivates you to go to the gym. You know, if you're a little insecure about your body in some way, you know what? I'm a little insecure. I want to go to the gym. I want to lose a little weight. I want to gain a little weight. I want to put on some muscle. I want to tone up my booty. You know, insecurity, fundamental, like any too much of anything is bad. But like, it's okay to be a little insecure. It's okay to be a little angry, right? It's okay to have emotions. This is what we're talking about. It's just, it's not okay to have these emotions in like an extreme way that like is incredibly toxic.
You're with me, but I catch you being physically affectionate with your ex-girlfriend right in front of me in a very, like, yeah, it's normal. You can't look at every time someone has an issue with the other person's behavior and think insecurity. It's like, no, it's inappropriate.
You're gonna tell me you never felt empowered to sit in someone's lap? You're gonna tell me that?
Who the fuck's talking about lap sitting?
You're gonna sit here and tell me you never felt empowered?
Yeah. Like, listen, if you get your empowerment from wearing a fucking bra when you go to the club, whatever. But some people were not going to go on and be in a relationship with that. It's not because of insecurity. It's like, yo, my girl looking.
Oh, I guess he means just wearing the bra. No, because I think women usually wear bras, but
trashy at the club. You're allowed to think that. The same way some dudes can think that shit's sexy. Some people think that shit's empowering. Other people can think that shit's trashy.
What it is what makes them feel powerful about it is when they go out and they dress really nice. What gives them the power is the attention that they get. It doesn't have to be a guy walking up to them.
Yeah, sure. But the thing is, we're all doing that, right? Like, we all dress nicely for that. Like, we all, to some degree, we dress nicely to go out. So people look at us and go like, oh, that person's put together. You know, it might be that you think that the person's attractive or whatever. It's to what degree? Like, when I go out, like, I'll dress nice. I want people to look at me and be like, oh, that guy's attractive. You know, I want women to look at me and go like, oh, that guy's attractive. Not right now. I look like fucking hot garbage. But like, I don't want to send off the signals that I want to date that other person because I'm very happily married, right? So it's like, hey, oh, that guy looks nice. Or to other men, you want other men to go like, oh, that guy's put together. You know what I mean? It just depends on and that's where like provocative comes in versus sexy, right? So I agree with the kid that I wouldn't want my wife to dress provocatively either. So, but
it could be a guy looking at them, and that's what gives them the power. It's the attention from other men. And if that weren't true, then they could dress up and look amazing and just, and they could stay in home, or they could look in the mirror and without anyone around.
So they can dress hot and stay at home.
Not what he said. All right,
Ethan is one of the most disingenuous goobers alive.
Bro, this is not.
You can dress. That's not what he's saying. He's saying the reason why they don't dress that way at their home is because there's no one to notice, which is a fair point. Dudes, when they work out, they like the attention they get from women. When you look good, when you wear a nice outfit, it's because you want people to notice.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, you do it in part for you because you enjoy wearing it, but you also like the attention, right? Because that's why you're not wearing your fucking suits at home, right? You're not wearing all that shit at home. You're wearing it when you go out in public.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you like the attention. It's okay. People have to get away from this thing that wanting attention or wanting like eyes seen on you or being noticed is inherently bad. It's not that. It's just that when you're willing to bend over backwards and compromise your values to do so, that's when it becomes sus. But the way Ethan's framing this thing is crazy.
I don't think that.
I don't know. Same to you guys, but okay.
If I have a girlfriend, she should have a desire to go out there and even seek the attention from other men, because the attention she gets from me is enough to fulfill her.
But don't we all crave validation? Like, don't we all crave validation in some way?
You should get enough validation from your wife, and your wife should get enough from you. She should be.
I get the majority of my validation from my wife, but it's always nice to like look outside a little bit. It's always nice that like I don't want another woman, but it's nice when you like other people would find you attractive. That's it. It's not like this super deep thing. It's the same way that the reason that people have like work wives or work husbands. Like I used to have one when I used to work my other job. Like we would flirt with each other. It's a very normal thing to do, but you would never let it go anywhere. Like it's just like a silly thing, you know.
Inspired by you, and maybe if you had a six-pack, she would be more inspired by you, and she wouldn't post thirst traps on Instagram.
Ooh, okay, he got petty.
When you repeat for so long, and you don't get, and you're being unfair and disingenuous, and you're doing out of your way not to understand what I'm trying to say.
We get you.
Well, of course, I'm gonna go from the. Hey, listen, you like that shit? Hey. There you go. I'm gonna go for the juggler.
It's so weird though, because like I watched the full conversation. And like this kid was being petty right from the beginning. So like for them to be like, oh, it's weird. Because they're trying to say that like Ethan deserves the pettiness based on him constantly misrepresenting them. All right. But again, this video is 2 hours long. And by the time they're here, it's at least like 30 minutes into it. I don't even know exactly where it is. And the kid was being kind of obnoxious the whole time. So to make it seem like Ethan deserves, it's just kind of weird. You don't agree getting validation from anyone, but your partner's weird. Well, you're weird. I don't know. You're very disconnected. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's nice to walk around I dress nicely to walk around the mall with my wife because I want people to look at us and go like, oh, I like those guys. Like, they look like an attractive couple. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all it is. Yeah. Yeah, he started off saying he's going to change Ethan's life. Yeah. I'm going to change your life, Ethan. And then he started talking about how Ethan was like on a downtrend and spiraling out of control, and like he was losing all of his shit, but this kid like had already lost most of his viewership.
If I was hotter,
maybe not.
If I was hotter, she wouldn't feel the need.
Not hotter. If you took care of yourself,
yeah.
You don't have to be hotter.
And it's something to keep in mind. Ethan, Ethan's been losing weight, so good for him, by the way. Like him and Ela have both been going through different fitness journeys, which we all have. This is a good year. My wife and I have been doing the same. It takes a long time, but we've been doing the same thing. So Ethan has been losing a little bit of weight. Ela's been trying to gain a little bit of weight. They're trying to get like healthier and happier with their bodies and with themselves. So, you know.
Okay, if I was skinny and I had a six-pack.
If she saw you and you're like, wow, he really cares and respects himself, and I like his attention, and I don't need to go out there and look for attention from guys in the comments or whatever.
See, don't you see you're insecure? Because I know
it's not insecurity.
Yes, it is. You are insecure, dude.
Okay. And you didn't explain why.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think that shit hurt Ethan.
Yeah, of course it did.
Yeah, that shit looked like
maybe.
If she wanted, look, Ethan, if she wanted to post a picture and I said, look, I'm not comfortable, I don't like it, and she did it anyway, that's fine. She can do it anyway.
No, I see that. If I was with the girl and I was like, I don't want you to post this, I find it inappropriate, and she posted, I'd probably like leave her. But then I would expect the same energy back. Right, you know what I mean? Like as long as it's fair both ways. Like if you're super like possessive on your girl and you won't let her do anything, but like you allow yourself to do whatever you want, I think that's just like silly goosery, you know.
And then I would just be like, hey, this breaks the boundary of the relationship. This breaks the sanctity of the intimate relationship I want to have with my wife.
Right.
I'm gonna just split here. I'm gonna go find a girl that respects me. It's not about insecurity. It's just this is my preference. This is how I want to conduct my life. I like to take control of my life and live my life the way I think is best for me.
But you're putting out
like
messages to young men as a role model, self-proclaimed role model.
Yes.
You refer to your girlfriend as she's yours. I mean, she's a human being, right, with her own desires, not an object.
Yes. Yeah. But like that's the thing. Is like my wife is mine in the same way that I am my wife's. Right. I think I remember the tone watching that kid, the young man. Sorry, is that he does what some other people do in the manosphere sometimes, where they like to say a very normal take in like a hot take way, right? So he's like, my girl's mine. I make the decisions. But then later on, he's like, as long as she's okay with the decisions. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's normal. Like I'll usually make the decisions in my household with my wife. The more important like financial decisions, you know, like I get our taxes taken care of, and like I'm the one who gets the money afterwards. When like I'll, you know, whatever other bullshit, like if we buy a car or we do this or we do that, and my wife likes to other stuff, like, you know, what like food to buy and stuff. I don't really care about that. Well, I do care about some of the food, but you get my point. But like if I make a bad decision, or my wife feels it, she'll advocate for herself, be like, oh, I didn't like that we did this. And the same thing back, you know, if she buys like shit cookies or something, or any cookies, because I gotta tell her we gotta stop eating cookies. Or my wife, God bless her, she'll buy honey wheat wraps sometimes because she thinks that that's made of whole wheat. And like, I need to eat whole wheat because I'm diabetic. And she's like, we have honey wheat. And I'm like, but baby, and I turn around, you read it, and like one of the first ingredients is like enriched with like wheat. But it's like, if it doesn't say whole wheat, then it's not the entire grain of wheat. And then it's not good for me to consume, right? But like this kid agrees with that. He's actually, when you like really pick at what he's thinking, he's a normal guy that seems to treat his girl like very well. The way that he expresses it though is in this way that makes him feel like he's in like 100% control. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like my wife makes me feel like I'm in control sometimes. I think that's what a good woman can do, is play to the ego of a man that might, like, I have a bit of an ego. So my wife knows how to play to my ego. You know what I mean? Like if I'm feeling like, you know, so she, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but sometimes, you know, you're feeling like a big man that day, and she's like, okay. And she kind of like, you know, she knows when to like give up a little bit for the day. She's like, okay, he's having one of those days. You know what I mean? We all do it back and forth. Same thing where my wife is having one of those days and she's being very like, you know, whiny or needs a lot of attention, and I'll give her more attention or something. You know, we all play to each other's, you know what I mean? Flaws in some capacity when you're in a relationship. You have to learn to do that. But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's why people say that's my wife. Like there is some element of like you guys belonging to each other. That's why you do the holy matrimony, right? You guys say I do. There's a certain belonging.
Holy cum.
Doesn't mean that she's your fucking slave or property. But yeah, in some ways you guys do belong. Is that?
Yeah, but the problem is like if you listen to what this kid says, the way he says it, it's not unreasonable to interpret what he's saying on face value as I own this girl. Whereas once you start picking, which was Ethan was doing that entire 2-hour shot, all of a sudden it becomes very normal. Like I remember one part in there, he's like, I own her, but like she kind of owns me too. And like she trusts me to make the right decision. And then if I don't, she'll say something. And it's like, okay, that's normal. But he says it as if he like owns the world. And so like when you sit here, you're like, oh, see, this guy's actually reasonable. But he wasn't really being reasonable. And then Ethan picked at him. And then all of a sudden he was more reasonable because after you pick through all the bullshit, he's a normal guy.
Is that a weird thing to say?
It's not a weird thing to say, man. He's being a slime ball. Like basically anything he's gonna find, anything this guy's gonna find he's ever been doing, and it's been doing for like what, 7 and 8 minutes now, is repeating the same fucking shit, repeating, rebrewing it, repeating like a fucking cow. That's what a fucking cow. You take your herb, you swallow it, you regurgitate it in your mouth, and you chew that shit again, regurgitate it. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's just like embarrassing for these two. Like, listen, I understand my content's like very lazy. I just go and I watch somebody else's video and I do commentary on it. But I think that there's something that can be very negative about doing commentary like this, where they broke down a 2-hour conversation into 16 minutes, where they watched about a minute of what Ethan and this other guy were talking about and kind of rambled. And I know I rambled too, but it kind of feels like when Ab and Preach do these videos, a lot of times they'll watch like a 30-second or a minute or maybe even a 2-minute clip out of like a greater 2-hour-long podcast, and they'll just kind of go off on it. And it's just like, it's so weird. It just comes off as like disconnected. Like this is how conversations work. Like you will constantly press a point over and over again. And I know that they know that. They're normal people, especially Abba. Abba loves debating. When you talk to Abba, he's very debate brain. It's fun, but like he knows that you harp on a point until you move on from the point. It's very basic conversation stuff. And they're trying to make like what, I don't know. It's a conversation. They had a 2-hour-long conversation. So, you know, you press each other on their ideology back and forth, and hopefully try to come to an understanding. If your argument is that Ethan is thick-headed and he's not conceding as much as maybe he should, okay, that's fine, but...
It is. That's exactly what the fuck it is. It's nothing new's gonna come out of this fucking video, okay? This video is fucking done, my guy. It's done. They're gonna repeat the same shit, and that's what Ethan does. They're not gonna do anything more. We're not gonna find some new thing that they're gonna say that they haven't said. It's the same shit from the past that's gonna do this. Oh, he's gonna find a little thing. Well, you said my wife. Like, that's something. Ethan,
what the
that's
fuck's
not a
happening
thing.
here, bro?
Shut up and you know it. You call your wife my wife. You said that. But that's the thing that he does.
Bro, did I just forget what the point was? What happened?
We know that he does that. He's just gonna nothing new is gonna come out of this conversation. Nothing. Every little thing that he's gonna say is gonna be, I got you there. I got you there. Hey, buddy, but I got you. No, you don't. You eliminate the same shit. You just bring it fucking back, okay? Like Justin Timberlake without the sexy, and then you try to make a point out of it, and it's not that. It's not giving anything, okay? There, I said it. All right. And we're gonna keep on watching this shit for like 20 minutes. Nah, fuck that shit.
Let's watch.
Well, it's a 2-hour-long thing, so you should probably watch 2 hours of it.
5 more minutes. No, you watch it.
I'll put it on 1.5 speed.
No, fuck that shit, bro.
You never know.
Nothing's gonna come. Yes, we know.
Okay, I lied.
No, yes.
I guess I can't be too angry that like I can't really give him too much shit though for having this massively weirdly disproportionate anger, because we all have those days, guys. You know, I'll have days. I remember what was it? We watched that BBTV video. The first thing when Ethan's like, somebody stole $620,000 from me. Like BBTV stole it from them. And I started watching the video, and at a certain point, I was like, oh, it seems like the contract says that you're going to get 100% of the advertisement revenue off of your videos, and then everything else is like a 70-30 split. And I ended up getting I can't even explain why. I must have been having like a weird day. I started arguing with people in the chat. They weren't even being disrespectful. I just like lost my shit for no reason, to the point where I just like stopped engaging in the video. And if I just kept watching on, you'd see that it seemed like I was wrong quite a bit. So, you know, we all have our days. We all have our days. You know, see, the reason that I'm not angry is because I'm sick. I'm just a sickly old man, you know? So, yeah, I don't care that they're yelling. I do it all the time, so I can't be too angry. But their take, I don't know. I guess my biggest issue is that they think that Ethan was being disingenuous. I think it was more of a miscommunication. You know, I'll give Ethan credit for having a 2-hour-long conversation with the kid. So.
Yes, we know.
I lied. 7 minutes.
No, yes, we know. We know. I'm done.
Let's just find out.
It's fun. No, because whenever I say I want to watch a video, you're like, it's fine, and you shut that shit off. Nigga, shut that shit off. That's the way to do it. Shut that shit off. Right, thank you very much, and that's all for the video. Got something else to say? No, you don't.
That's still weird. Is this how embarrassing I act when I go goblin mode, bro?
Because it's gonna be the same shit. Jesus Christ.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel like it's not that deep. But okay. Okay. There's a reason why they think Ethan is being disingenuous. He has a history of behaving that way. That's not out of nowhere. Maybe. That's actually not a bad point. That's fair, actually. Well, if I guess for me, when I watch like Ethan now, I see like almost like from the end of last year, the end of 2022, I've been seeing like Ethan like having a little bit of a shift in the way that he engages with his content and like criticism. And he seems like a genuine guy that's trying to like just kind of be better. But I could see why they might have that issue. I guess I could see why they would have that like interpretation of Ethan.